These headaches are not random, and they're not just like PMS or just hormones in a dismissive way. They are signals from your body trying to get your attention and to let you know that your body needs a little bit more support. So, when these symptoms show up predictably, your body is speaking in patterns. And when you learn to listen to those patterns, you can respond to your body's signals with care instead of frustration. Welcome to the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Ray Kovacs, a registered nurse and reflector in human design on a soul mission to help women like you rise from life's ashes with abundant energy, purpose, and joy. Each week, we'll meet at the intersection of science, soul, and storytelling as we create a bridge between holistic women's health, the sacred feminine, and cyclical wisdom. You'll get tools and insights from experts and guests helping you to thrive in every area of your life. So go ahead and pull up a chair, grab your favorite crystal or cup of tea, and let's rise like phoenixes together. Hello, sister, and welcome back to the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I'm really glad you're here today. We are going to be talking about something that so many women experience, and that is headaches or migraines just before their period. If you've noticed that, like clockwork, the days leading up to your bleed come with a dull ache in your head, maybe tension in your neck or your jaw, pressure, here in your temples or behind your eyes, or even a full blown migraine, then I want you to know that you're not alone. This is very common. These headaches are not random, and they're not just like PMS or just hormones in a dismissive way. They are signals from your body trying to get your attention and to let you know that your body needs a little bit more support. So, when these symptoms show up predictably, your body is speaking in patterns. And when you learn to listen to those patterns, you can respond to your body's signals with care instead of frustration or instead of dismissal. And this is a way that you can continue to build trust with your body. So, the number one reason why women tend to get headaches just before their period is because of the estrogen drop. So, of course, right before your period, as you approach it, estrogen is a little elevated, and then right before you start your period, so within a couple of days, that estrogen is going to drop. And remember that estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone, it also plays a role in blood vessel regulation. It affects your neurotransmitters like serotonin. And it also plays a part in your circulation and hydration. When estrogen drops, some women experience a kind of increased sensitivity to pain, changes in blood flows, and that can lead to headaches or migraines. So it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong, right? There is a natural occurrence where estrogen is dropping, but some women's bodies are more sensitive to that transition, and headaches can really come up. The good news is there are ways that you can support your body in that transition that can help ease the headaches, ease the PMS symptoms, and can make life a little bit more easy to get through during those times. So the mistake here that a lot of women make is that when they get those headaches, they will oftentimes just take a Tylenol or take a medication and then continue doing everything that they're doing. So remember that your body is trying to communicate with you. And if you're getting a headache consistently every month, then that means that your body needs you to do something a little bit different and to care for yourself in a little bit different way. So that late luteal phase, those couple of days before your period, is really a time when your body needs more nourishment, less stress, less stimulation, and it's really asking for more support from you during that time. That means supporting yourself through gentle movement, reducing the intensity of your exercises. That means nourishing your body in a supportive way. So, eating regular whole food nutrition, eating regularly, and avoiding the kind of inflammatory types of foods, and making sure that if you do have a food sensitivity or notice that things like gluten or dairy can be very inflammatory to those of us that are sensitive to that. So, if you know that is the case for you, then this would be a really important time for you to avoid those kind of inflammatory foods. Gluten is certainly one that can contribute to headaches. So it might be worth getting curious about that. So make sure you're prioritizing your protein, healthy fats, and good carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, and that will really help to support you hormonally during that time. Really, just avoiding extremes during those last couple of days can help ease that tension. And of course, if you are in a great deal of pain and you have been caring for yourself, like, of course, taking something to help relieve that tension as well. Just remember that the headaches, if they are happening cyclically, and they can be related to those hormonal changes, and it's just asking, your body's just asking for a little bit of a different approach during that time. So slow down, make sure you're nourishing yourself and hydrating yourself. And if you do need that extra support with medication, then that is there for you as well. So, reason number two that we get headaches is kind of related a little bit to what I was just talking about. Sometimes when we are at that point in our cycle, we're really needing to slow down, and our bodies are having a harder time dealing with the stress. So she really needs you to kind of scale back a little bit and relieve some of the tension. So things like rushing around, overscheduling yourself during this time, multitasking, sitting down too long, staring at the computer, that constant stimulation can create tension. This is the time when you need to be doing some more relaxing things. I know we might not be able to do that all the time, but really, this is an important piece, an important time just before your bleed to relax, do relaxing activities like maybe taking a bath or getting a massage, maybe, slowing down and giving yourself a space to do some deep breathing or meditation exercises, maybe doing a nice yoga nidra to help relax you, even just taking those few moments to get up and take breaks from the computer, maybe do some dancing or go outside. Those kinds of activities can help you step out of this kind of tension space, this like pushing space, and help you relax, which can help relieve those tension headaches that we can get during that time. So maybe try leaving a little earlier from work if you can, or perhaps just like building more time for yourself in the evening to relax. Like I said, pausing between tasks, stretching your neck and shoulders, doing more gentle movement rather than, really, really going for it hard at the gym, giving yourself that space and taking intentional breaths. That is really going to be helpful to relieve tension at that time. Because remember that this phase, that late luteal phase, is really a moment when your body's asking for you to turn inwards, to care for yourself, to nourish yourself. So, reducing that stimulation, if you can, even just a little bit, can really make a big difference. And the number three reason that headaches may be coming up for you cyclically just before you bleed is the self criticism that can come about in the luteal phase. Now, I want to gently bring this emotional and spiritual layer to the conversation. And Louise Hay, in her book, Heal Your Body, taught us that headaches are often linked to self criticism, which is that mental pressure that we place upon ourselves. And if you've spent any time paying attention to your cycle, you may have noticed that the luteal phase is when we tend to be a little bit more self critical. the inner critic that really lives and thrives in the luteal phase. And so if you're in that space and you've really been putting the pressure on yourself, then that can manifest physically with things like headaches. So if you're having a lot of thoughts around that time, like, I should be doing more, I'm falling behind, I'm failing, I'm not enough, those kinds of thoughts can create this pressure and like putting this emotional or mental pressure on ourselves to be performing in a different way when our bodies are asking for us to slow down a little bit. The luteal phase is magical in the way that she brings about truth of how we've been acting, and oftentimes when we've been really talking critically to ourselves in our internal world, that can come up and manifest itself as headaches and create this sort of mental pressure. And again, when you're experiencing pressure, it's looking for a release. So a headache can be the body's way to tell you that, hey, you've been really putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And that self judgment is just too much right now. We've got to back off a little bit, get off my back a little. Right. So it's not about blaming yourself. It's just about building awareness and helping, realizing that these symptoms are maybe indications for you to kind of change that inner environment a little bit, recognizing that how you speak to yourself matters, and especially in this phase right before your bleed. So, some ways that you can support yourself here is, noticing when you're getting really self-critical, maybe giving yourself some space to journal some of those things so you can address them at a later time and really soften your inner dialogue inside and start to speak some kinder things to yourself. Offering yourself compassion instead of correction. And remember that the luteal phase is not necessarily a time for self improvement, right? It's a time for inner reflection and self honesty. And that late luteal phase is really emphasizing a time for you to care for yourself. So I want to leave you with this reframe. Your headaches that show up, they're not punishment. It's not your body punishing you. And it's also a indication that maybe your body needs a little bit more support. It's pressure that's asking to be released, and those can be related physically, like to our hormones, or maybe to the things that we're doing, or even emotionally or spiritually as well. But the luteal phase in her magic is not meant to be this miserable time where we have to suffer month to month. It really is just the time of illumination, and it's meant to be honored, and you are meant to be honored during that time. And when you honor your body, you honor your cyclical nature, then those things can start to reveal themselves, and then you can care for yourselves appropriately. And oftentimes those symptoms tend to soften as well as you also soften your views towards yourself. So the next time, if you have a headache that creeps up along with that PMS or right before your bleed, instead of, just going right ahead and grabbing a Tylenol and just going about your day and not even thinking about it, just take a moment to stop and ask, what is my body trying to tell me? How can I care for myself right here? And where am I pushing too hard, and where do I need to soften a little bit? Where am I putting too much pressure on myself, and how can I soften? Remember, your body, she's not betraying you. She's not broken. You're not broken. She just is looking for some relief and to help to get your attention so that way you can care for yourself a little bit better. Before I leave you, let me pull a card for you real quick. And today's card reading is this is a beautiful card. It's called Come to Me. Attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. It's so beautiful what happens when we open like a rose and we just sit there and open to the blessings that the universe is bringing us, instead of always striving and reaching and like going for it so hardcore all the time. That there are moments in our life when we are meant to open up and receive what is already here for us. And that is such a beautiful reminder, especially as we're talking about, just that moment just before your bleed when maybe this is the time for you to open and receive care and love and nourishment from yourself so you can go into your bleed feeling more peaceful and connected instead of just kind of crashing into your menstrual phase. Now you get to enjoy the blessings that come along with a more connected bleed. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you found this episode to be supportive, then maybe send it to a friend who you know has headaches or experiences those migraines just before her period. There might be something in here that would be supportive for her. And I am so grateful for you. Remember to nourish yourself, take care of yourself, and that you are so worthy of living your vibrant life. Until next time, friend. See you later. Yes, I am celebrating you because you just finished another episode of the Phoenix Perspective Podcast. I am so grateful we got to spend time together today. It's really been a blast. If this episode lit up your heart or sparked something in your soul, please follow the show and share it with a friend who's ready to rise too. Until next moon phase, remember, you are so worthy of living your most vibrant life. See you next time.